Entire ecosystems are collapsing.
Hey, folks, we've got breaking news. It's Monday morning, and the algos are shifting again. So we wanted to get in here, especially for our members, let them know we've had an update. So good morning, Dex. I hope you had a wonderful Holy Week and Easter, and happy Monday, my man.
Yes, I did. Thank you for asking. And what about yourself?
Yeah, man, it's pretty good. It's very full weekend. My wife had an Easter egg hunt on our lawn, but no one cares about that because our title is real. This really is breaking algo shift alert. So
yeah, man.
So you posted in our members areas that people should check their reports, refresh their reports, because we had yet another algo shift take place. And you were just telling me, and by the way, we're going to go over ETH, we're going to go over Bitcoin. So go ahead and send us your questions, but we are going to cover those too. But you were telling me that essentially the things that you're seeing, they rattled your not rattled, but you felt something in your trader bones.
Yes.
And you decided to go in and check things out, and you saw something. So what's going on that made you want to update the algos today?
Okay, so as you know, I have a rule when it comes to the weekend. Once I get the reports out on Thursday night for Friday, for Thursday night and Friday's trading, my weekend starts. All right. That's what I normally do. Okay. I don't look at news on the weekend or, watch Bloomberg. I don't read the Washington Journal or the Investors Business Daily or the Economist or the Financial Times. I don't do none of that. When the weekend comes, I'm chilling. And if it's a holiday, I'm really chilling. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I had to break my own rule over this holiday weekend. Yeah, I broke my own rule. One of the little things I like to do for fun and helps me relax is on the weekends, I will watch some YouTube videos. I have I have over 100 different channels I subscribe to, and I look for funny stuff, silly stuff, maybe some celebrity news gossip, whatever, just lighthearted stuff. Nothing about economy or markets, but I could not do that because in my list, some very important information was posted, and they were like, you need to check this out before YouTube takes this down. So I went ahead and I watched some stuff, and I gotta tell you, it was pretty damaging. It was a video excerpt of the global elite back in 2020 discussing everything that is taking place today, including the war, proving that all of this is a planned event. Everything from the pandemic to the war was pre-thought about, scripted, and calculated with extreme precision to take place right now, today. And they said the reason why they are doing it is because they want to push their agenda. They want to reshape the world in their image. And the people who are undesirables, they want to get rid of. And one of those listed items that are high on their priority list are Christians. And it blew my mind when I saw this. Another thing that was going on was some man on the street traffic. So doing a little bit of ear hustling, I found out that the reason why things are happening, like why did Russia choose to go in now, to what it's doing, and why is China wanting to go and re-annex Taiwan? Well, come to find out, Taiwan approached NATO for membership before China even mentioned, re-annexing it. So that has been the issue. That's why China's like, oh, when they found out they did that, it was like, okay, we got to move up our timetable. We got to re-annex immediately. Same thing with Russia's attacking. Come to find out, that is the same thing that was happening there. They wanted to be a member of NATO. So Russia was like, "No, we can't have that. We need to re-annex. Let's go take it back now before that can happen." And then more word on the street. Now, there's no way for me to verify this. I can only go by what I heard. And someone said that India may attack China. And that just blew me away. So things are heating up on the global front. Another thing that I saw and heard a lot. They were talking about the shortage issue. And they finally told the truth about the shortage issue. They admitted that when they locked down the global economy, that one of the ripple effect and unintended consequences was going to be a supply crunch. Because once you shut down all the factories, then guess what? Nothing's being produced. And not only is nothing being produced, but nothing is being shipped either. So when you have no shipping and you have no commerce and everything's gone to a screeching halt, people start to suffer. Now, you don't see it immediately. It takes a few months for everything to trickle down, but you start to see the effects of it when you go to the store and the items you normally get are not on the shelf. And they say, well, it's a supply chain issue. It's not a supply chain issue. It's a direct cause and effect result of shutting down the global economy. All right. They're not stupid. They knew what they were doing. They knew that this would destroy the global economy when they shut it down. So why did they want that to happen? So they can bring the new economy. Ladies and gentlemen, the stuff that I have been told and the things that I saw over this weekend were just shocking. I saw with my own eyes the new global tyranny technology that is about to be rolled out. I saw for the first time stores that are not operated by people that are about to open and go worldwide. Guess how you shop, ladies and gentlemen? This part is the scariest part. When you walk into these facilities, there's no people. There's no attendant. There's no cashier, right? There's not even a cash register. You want to know why there's no cashier and no cash register? Because cash is going away globally, not just in the West of the United States. Let me repeat that. Cashless machines. When you go into these stores, there is no human being whatsoever. It's just machines. Now, here's the really freaky part. Because there's no human being and no cashier, there's no cash register because you can't buy anything in the store with cash. Instead, you have these computer screens. And you go and you approach one of them, and this computer screen may say beer on it. And when you approach the machine, automatically there's a sensor. It senses that a person has approached, and the screen changes and shows you a 3D image of the contents that's inside. All right. It's a digital image, like a 4K resolution image of what is inside. And you say, okay, this is great. They have the beer that I want. Let me go ahead and buy this. But how do I buy it? And where in the world do I get it? There's no lever or anything to squeeze or push or spin. There's no thing to feed your money into, your dollar bills, like you have currently at most stores. None of that's there. Remember, there's no cashier. There's not even a place to put in your credit card or swipe your credit card. There's no credit card machine. There's no cash register. So how in the heck are you supposed to buy the goods that you want? This is the scary part. One of the owners of the store was interviewed, and they asked him, how in the world is this supposed to work? And do you know what he said to them? He said, I don't know. They said, what's this little thing right here? And this little thing, it looks like a button, but it's not really what is that? He said, I don't know. This all the stuff, the equipment just came in today. They set everything up, and I don't know. But they do know. Are you ready for this? It's not a microchip, ladies and gentlemen. I know that's what you're thinking. It's not a chip. It's not a chip reader. Do you know what they said it was? A barcode reader. Let that sink in for a minute. Barcode. Do you know what technology currently exists to make that a reality? Are you ready? Here you go. It's called a digital tattoo that you can put on your hand or your forehead. And there's a scanner at the top of the screen, all right, the 4K screen. And then they have these little reader things on the right side of this 4K screen. So you will get the wearable tattoo, which is the technology in itself. It doesn't wash off or wipe off. There's no surgery required. Once you put it on the hand or the forehead, it's there permanently. And this super technology will have all of your information on it because it's going to a digital credit system. All right. So the money will be put on the tattoo. All right. It's going to be on the tattoo. All right. So when you swipe, you won't even have to swipe because it's going to read you when you step up to the 4K screen. It's going to read you. You don't have to swipe anything. That's why he was like, I don't know, because there's nothing to swipe. There's no credit card reader. There's no cash machine that you feed cash into. No change. None of that. No button to push for Bitcoin if you want to use cryptocurrency or gold or silver. None of that. It's just straight up tattoo. And this is a reader that will read you. Now, you may be thinking, now this sounds too crazy. Dex, what are you saying? Are you ready? They already have been getting everybody used to this. And you'll say, how have they been getting everybody used to it? Well, I don't know about you, okay? But in the last 2 years, when you go to the doctors or you go to the hospital, emergency room, whatever, do you remember the machine that they had there? All you got to do is stoop down so it can read your forehead and that's how it takes your temperature, or the nurse or whoever has one of those temperature guns in their hand and it is shoot it at your forehead and it gives the temperature. Okay, first of all, just so you know, you guys, the technology doesn't work, and that wasn't the purpose of it. It's not to take your temperature. It's to get us used to having our foreheads read, because that's where the tattoo is going to be, or on the back of the hand. Yeah, see, all things are connected. This is scary. This is next level. This is Black Mirror coming to life. And speaking of Black Mirror, did you know and did you realize that several of the things that Black Mirror episodes talked about have already been rolled out and have come to pass? So yes, ladies and gentlemen, something huge is on the horizon. Now, in addition to this nonsense, all right, I hope you're sitting down. They are planning to escalate the war to the next level. The reason they want to do this is because they actually want thermonuclear war. They want nukes to start flying. Every major news outlet has been using the N-word for the last 2 weeks straight. When they mention anything about the war, they've been making sure they mention the N-word. So they're prepping you with the Jedi mind tricks to be prepared. So when you hear that a nuke has gone off in a country, in a major city, in a town, in a suburb, in a municipality, in a township, doesn't matter, you won't be so scared or whatever. Shocked, I should say. Not scared, but shocked. Because you're like, oh yeah, I knew it was coming. However, this is being done to undermine the current system. Let me explain what I mean by that. Okay, so they realize that the whole pandemic thing has failed and it did not achieve the required goal of success that how they wanted it to. That's why the war now has to be kicked off. Remember, they want to get the population down under 500 million. And since there's 7 billion people on the planet, that's about a 95% cut. Something else I realized too over the weekend, back in, I want to say the year 1999, somewhere, I think either the spring or summer, somewhere around that time, I remember I was at a doctor's office and this lady came in to be seen. Didn't know her. She didn't know me. She was talking to some people. But then when she said, what I'm about to tell you what she said, she looked at everybody and looked at me too. At the time she said it, I didn't know what it meant or what she was talking about. But what she said to me really stood out, and it just was brought back to my remembrance. Okay. She said, don't worry about anything, ladies and gentlemen, because the great culling is about to commence. I didn't even know what she was talking about. When she said culling, I didn't even know what she meant. I had never heard that word before in 1999. Now, the reason why this is significant, because after she said that, less than 2 years later, 9/11 happened. Now think about that for a minute. See, here in the nation's capital, Washington, D.C., you have a lot of illuminists, a lot of secret society people. And this office that I was at was a haven for these type of people. I remember when that guy was alive. I don't know if it was King Hussein. It was one of those Middle Eastern kings. He's long since passed, but he would come to this building to see one of the specialists. And whenever he would arrive, there would be this enormous motorcade like the president, and they would lock the whole building down. So he would always come after hours, after the doctor's offices had already closed to seeing regular patients. And then he would be escorted in by Secret Service and all types of stuff like that. This building saw a lot of celebrities too. I mean, you name it. Cher, Sonny Bono before he passed, Mike Tyson. I mean, you name it, the list goes on. High government officials, all of that. And back during this time in the late 90s, I had the privilege to be introduced and met a lot of people whom I've never heard or seen again that were either in some type of secret society or they were very high up government officials, whether they worked at the State Department, Department of Treasury, the Pentagon, or some other, acronym. And I was able to have some very interesting conversations with people. Of course, this is a very long time ago, but now I'm just now starting to realize some things that they said then that I didn't understand then, but I can actually see it happening now. Another thing that we had some friends that came here to the States from Germany. Now, the husband was a very talented scientist and physician. And the reason why he came from Germany to here to the United States was because he was working on some type of top secret project at NIH. I bet you can't guess what project he was working on. I only found out what it was, but he couldn't tell me nothing else. You know what it was? Working on pneumonia, the Pseudomonas virus that causes pneumonia and upper respiratory infections.
Wow.
Yeah. And when his project was over, they said, okay, we're leaving. We're going back to Germany. And I was like, oh, so are you but will you be back? They said, yes and no. They said,
what year was this?
This was right before 9/11. Was it before 9/11? Wait, let me think. Hold on. Let me think.
We're old enough. You really got to think when you when you put these.
Yeah. Okay. No, this was after 9/11. Okay, so we're like maybe 2002, 2003, somewhere like that. I wouldn't say 03. We'll say 03.
Yeah.
Something like that. I put it like this. You can help me with the years because right now it's kind of blank. I'll tell you what they said, then you can let me know what year it was. Are you ready? They said, we will come back only if this happens.
Mm-hmm.
But if that happens, then we will never be back. And do you know what the it was? The it was, they said, if Bush gets reelected, we will not come back. Because that means that your country is officially turned into a police state.
Damn.
When they said that to me, I did not know what they were talking about. I had no idea. In addition to that, I said, well, Bush is a good guy, right? Now again, this is not Senior, this is Junior. Remember, Senior was doing the first Gulf War in 1990. This is his son. This is upside down children's book reading Bush.
Yep.
And when they said it, I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. What do you mean police state? What's that? All right. I was like, what's that? What's that?
Wow.
And they said, well, you're going to see. So
Indeed.
when he won the election, they said, well, no, we're not coming back. He won the election. That's it. We're not coming back. But for some reason, which they would not tell me, some time had passed after I talked to him again. And they were like, okay, so we're trying to come back now. I was like, I thought you weren't going to come back because if he got elected, it's a police state. They said, yeah, but it's an emergency. So there's something important with the husband's work, with the Pseudomonas virus thing. And guess what, you guys? They told him no, he can't come back. They would not allow him to come back. I wonder why that is. Think about that. Let that sink in for a minute. Now, he was a good guy. All right, he was actually trying to find a cure for the Pseudomonas virus thing, and the guy was brilliant. Okay. Now, around I want to say, so if we're at 2003 or something, I don't know. When did Junior get reelected? What year was that? Do y'all know? Y'all can help me out with the dates here a little.
Wouldn't that be?
Would that be 04? 2004 maybe?
I think
is that how that went?
Well, let's see. He was definitely okay. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right, because he took the place of Clinton. Clinton was the 90s. Okay, yeah. All right, so it had to be 2003 because that the following year in 4, that's when the election happened and he won. Okay,
Yeah, it makes
so
sense. Look how you're putting this together, man. You're like writing history now.
all right,
That's great.
so not only that, so let's fast forward through just 3 years later. No, hold on, what? 3 is all right. So 9 take away 3 is 6. Okay, let's fast forward 6 years. It was only 6 years after that. And remember, 2003 is only 2 years after 9/11. So 6 years into the future, right? 1999. That's when the lady in the doctor's office said what she said, and I didn't know anything what she was talking about. But something else happened around that time, too. Another brilliant scientist, I cannot mention any names. Those who may know who I'm talking about, fine. But if you don't, I can't say nothing. This was a very brilliant doctor in Washington, D.C., who was also researching to find a cure. Guess what they were finding a cure for? HIV/AIDS, the virus that causes AIDS. Brilliant research. All right. An amazing oncologist. Stopped private practice and went to, work on her thing full time, went to NIH, and you will not believe what happened. Not only did they steal their research and claim it as their own and let the head doctor, scientist dude there at the time put his name on it and get patents and all that stuff. But you're not going to believe this because they fought them on it. It was like, no, this is my intellectual property. They sicked the system on them, ruined them professionally. That's right, ruined them professionally. Then dragged them before the courts and put them on this ridiculous type of a probation thing where they had to go and pee in a cup every week. Every week. Urinalysis every week. And this person was not a drug addict or an alcoholic or any kind of addict. If anything, they were a workaholic because they were working so hard to find a cure. And I think that they actually cracked the code and came up with one. And they were like, no, we can't have this. You will bankrupt the entire medical establishment if this thing goes forward, because it's a cure and it has other benefits. It's a cure for just about everything. Cancer, period, going well beyond HIV, but cancer as we know it would have been cured in 1999.
Dude, just to interrupt quickly, these stories of how society has had a cure for this, a cure for that, they keep piling up. And because of the internet age, and everybody wants to have their receipts, people are starting to bring these things out more and more. I was just watching, my son bailed on me and we didn't get through the whole thing, but we were watching this new documentary about UFOs and Stephen Greer was in it. I think it's called Above Top Secret or something like that. Mm-hmm. And he was going over this well-known story of a guy who had created an engine that ran on water and how he mysteriously died. And he claimed, not mysteriously, he claimed he was poisoned and he died and the technology was bought and shelved. And we know that the guy was driving around in a water car. So,
right.
These kinds of stories, I remember being a little kid and my dad saying, I met a guy who said he had a cure for cavities, like all these kinds of stories that you hear. And the thing is, it used to be like a curiosity and a conspiracy theory. I think what's happening is society is waking up to the fact that we really are being run this way, that we do have the reason we're so puzzled by all of our problems in such an amazing world is because we really do have the capacity to solve so many of these things. And they're being taken from us to control us. And that narrative is sounding less and less crazy. You're seeing more mainstream figures like Rogan and Russell Brand and types like that who are really running with this message, and people who before weren't ready to hear it are starting to perk up their ears. So just want to
it gets deeper than that, because this is why nothing's going to change, because this tactic works so well. So after this incredible intimidation, the scientist doctor was like, okay, uncle, please make this stop. Make the pain stop. And they said, okay. I'm glad you've come to your senses. We will restore you and restore your good name. Guess what they did? They bought him out, hit him upside the head with an enormous briefcase full of money. Guess what they did? Offered them a job as CEO at one of the largest pharmaceutical companies in the world. And they took it. Yes, right. That's what they do. They break you and then they take you and make you and put you to work for them.
They
That's
work
right.
They work the same way the devil works.
Exactly.
They're trying to bring you to a place where you don't care anymore and it's futile and you throw your hands up.
Yeah, and then I found out something else, ladies and gentlemen. This is something I want to tell everyone people who don't know. Okay, so social media, as you know it, has been co-opted and taken over. A lot of people say, hey, you know, I can't do a lot here or there, so come follow me on Patreon. I'm here to serve you notice. For those that don't know, Patreon is no different than YouTube. I have now
Maybe worse.
personally witnessed several people who have been banned from Patreon and had their accounts closed because of talking about controversial subjects. That's right.
Dude, I was just talking to two guys this weekend and I was explaining to them that what's going on with Patreon, it's different than YouTube. They'll come to a creator. Like I was following a guy just does movie reviews, man. He's not a political guy. Okay. And I can tell by the way he was talking about it, he wasn't even a like a alternative news kind of guy or a new media guy. He said they contacted me and said that something I had posted elsewhere was the reason for the permanent banning and that there was no resolution. So they actually went out, saw that he posted something they didn't like. And you say to yourself, how do you even have the resources to deny yourself business this way? It's bizarre. Imagine hiring people to find a way to kick off harmless clients and then aggressively doing it. I mean, it shows, and you see even with this Twitter takeover, the attempted takeover by Musk, the interests are absolutely real, and they are not to make a profitable company. It's to have a means of controlling people and changing the way society functions.
Okay, I'm going to first of all, I'm going to say everything you just said is 100% right, but I don't think you realize why you're right. Okay, so for those that don't quite get it, let me help you out a little bit. What my man Frank just said to you is easily glossed over by most people. The question that you just asked is, how is a for-profit corporation supposed to make money when you make it impossible for them to service the clients that they already have, and then you make it impossible for them to get new business?
Clearly, that's not the goal.
Yeah, think about it. If your business is already down 30% since the whole, let's say 2020, all right, and let's say for example, you have 100 clients, right? Business is down 30% because 30 people have left you. Okay, now they're still coming to your store. You just legally can't let them in because they don't have the passport, vaccine passport, or whatever the story is. The government said you can only service people that can prove they had a vaccine or whatever. You're already struggling. And now you're taking away even more of your customer base. So you have no choice now but to file bankruptcy because you cannot afford to keep your staff and keep the lights on. You just don't have the resources because government said you cannot operate. You can't open, or if you do open, you can only serve these type of people. All right. So you're out of business. Now, people should be asking themselves a question. Why is my man Frank, his little mom and pop, out of business, but the big chain store across the street is still going fine, full throttle? Let me explain it to you. You see, when they were in the back rooms planning all of these events, the one thing that was promised to the big Fortune 500 companies was that if you play ball and do exactly as we say, if you keep to the narrative that we put forward, if you do that and you be a good little boy and a good little girl, we're gonna take care of you. We will backstop you. So whatever money you lose, we will give it back to you. All right. So right now, Uncle Sam is your number one customer. You make your number one customer happy, and you will not go bankrupt. However, if you defy us in any way, you will go bankrupt. So the big Fortune 500 companies, they get to stay open. They get to do whatever they want to do. And guess what? They're still in business, while the mom and pop or companies that were already struggling before the pandemic, they have to fade into the wind and they go bye-bye because they were not promised the same deal as the big Fortune 500 companies, aka too big to fail. Now, with that being said, I can only speak about the country in which I am currently residing. The country in which I am currently residing is in trouble to a point that the majority of people can't even comprehend what type of trouble this country is in. You see, they realized that in order to stave off complete economic collapse happening before they want it to happen, the central banks have to do something. And that something is continuously print money every month. I heard the word on the street on Capitol Hill was they were working out a plan to print trillions of dollars of bailout money to the citizenry on a monthly basis to the tune of about $3,000 per household per month. Sounds a lot like universal basic income to me, but that's what they're working on right now behind closed doors. And the reason why they're doing it is because they need a little bit more time to finish laying the groundwork for the stuff that they're doing right now. So word on the street is, ladies and gentlemen, universal basic income is on the way. That's what they want. Now, you're going to have to ask yourself another question. What does this really mean if universal basic income rolls out, but under another name? Because, you know, they're slick. They don't want you to know what and why they're doing it. They just want you to just take it and shut up. Okay, so jobs as you know it are going away. Now, I need to stress to you how important this part is. I want everyone under the sound of my voice to hear me and hear me good. Be ready, make provisions, because you're going to be losing your job. Everyone that's listening to me right now that is employed, working a 9-to-5 job, at some point in the not too distant future, you're going to lose your job. All right? It's not because you're a bad person or you're a terrible employee. It's because of how they're reshaping the economy. Remember, everyone's been talking about global reset. People don't understand. They hear terms and they parrot them, but they don't know what they're talking about. Global reset has nothing to do with, okay, we're just going to take away the US dollar hegemony and, you know, the petrodollar is no longer the big boy. We're going to go to another reserve currency. Okay, fine, reset, you know, cancel all the debt. We're all going to go skipping up the street into a blissful future. That's not what a reset is. When you hit a reset button, ladies and gentlemen, what happens when you hit a reset button? On your computer, well, if you did that right now, what happens? It turns off. Reset is a turn off switch, ladies and gentlemen. You're confusing a restart, which is a system thing on your computer, with a reset. When you restore something, it's called a reset. If anyone who has a PlayStation 3 or PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox, whatever generation of Xbox, you know what I'm talking about. When you have to reset your box because it's malfunctioning, you got to restore it, reset it to factory settings. A restore wipes everything away that once was. It doesn't fix anything. It just erases. So a reset erases everything. The world as you know it is wiped clean. That's what a reset is. Right. System reset. Oh, we're going through a global reset. You don't even know what you're talking about. Reset means to destroy, to wipe clean, to start over. So you're starting over. That means that everything that you once knew doesn't exist anymore. Behold, all things are new and different. So now you have to get used to this new system that is replacing the old system. There's a difference between a reset and a reboot. When you reboot your system, you're not destroying any data. You're just turning your computer off and rebooting it. Everything stays the same. Nothing changes in a reboot. All you're doing is just turning my system off and restarting it. You're restarting. This is not a restart. This is a reset, a wiping away of everything that is old. So now you have to ask yourself a question. What is it that they're wiping away? They're wiping away the monetary system that you have become accustomed to. That includes everything associated with said monetary system. That means they're doing away with cash. Cash is now going to become worthless because no establishment will take it, including coinage. Why do you think they've been telling you, oh, because of the pandemic, coinage is, very scarce now, so we can't give you change back? That's a lie. Coins are not scarce. What it is they want to take away all coins. So that's why they allow you to pay them with coins, but they're not going to give you any coins back. So the question is why? Because they want to take away all the old system. They're tearing it down right in front of your face, and you're not even none the wiser. So by accepting your coins but not giving you coins back in return is a wiping away of the current monetary system. And they're doing it in a systematic approach. So first you take all the coins away, take away nickels, dimes, quarters, and pennies. So now that those are out of circulation, the next thing you go to is cash. And you'll say, they're not taking cash away. Cash is king. You obviously haven't left the house in months. If you go to any place and do any type of shopping of any kind, surely you've already run into this thing, right? It goes a little something like this. Excuse me, sir, ma'am. I see you're going to that self-checkout. Are you paying in cash? Because if you are, you can't use that particular checkout. You have to go over here. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Already, there are registers that do not accept cash, whether it be a self-checkout or a human being cashier standing there. No cash accepted. Surely you've run into this. Surely I'm not the only one who has run into this recently when shopping outside of your house. Not shopping on the internet, but shopping outside of your house where you have to physically get up and go somewhere. You're already running and encountering that issue. No cash accepted. Because now they've systematically taken the change out of the system. Now they got to take the cash dollars out of the system. Once that is done, then they are ready to roll out the digital tattoo. And you're probably thinking, oh, I'll hold out. I ain't worried about it. It's not mandatory, so I ain't worrying about it. See, they know how to change definitions of words. And they will say, it's not mandatory. Do what you want to do. You don't have to get it. But see, that's dishonest. That's not honest. That's not truth. What they're telling you when they say you don't have to get it. Because technically, yeah. If you want to be technical, you don't have to get it. But here's the problem. If you don't get it, then you're not going to eat. Because how are you going to pay for what you need? You'll go to the store and you have no way of checking out any of the items. You can't purchase anything. That 4K screen door is not going to open for you because you don't have the digital tattoo needed, so it can read the barcode to identify you to then be able to disperse to you the items in the store that you want to buy. Okay. That is what I was trying to tell you guys back in 2016 with the 2 documentaries that I did in 2016 that are still up on YouTube. Just go to the PulseWave Trading YouTube channel and search the documentaries. They're there. There are 2 of them that I did. The Fed versus Bitcoin and the central banks versus the blockchain, where I went into great detail about this and I laid it all out for you exactly how they were going to do it. Step 1, 2, 3.
Mhm.
And then the second one that I did, I forget the name of it, but it's still up on YouTube as well. So everything that I warned about and was laughed at when I warned everyone about it, they said, what you're saying is impossible. You don't know what you're talking about. Well, now it's already happened, and it is possible because it's already happened.
One
So
thing I think the pandemic has shown is people will go to a lot of trouble to do what they're told. Like,
correct.
they'll risk their bodies because they want to do what they're told. And it's like, I think in the past when we hear these things, oh, they want to move us to this, they want to move us to that, they want to make us do this. You think, well, how are they going to talk people into doing something against their interests? And you see, once they have some fear, once they have some social shame, once they have the ability to tell you there's an emergency behind it, people will really go to quite a lot of trouble. And I think the other thing too, I think about this for myself. I know this is true for our audience here and for the pulse waivers in general. Many of us are pretty resourceful when it comes to figuring out how to move money around, how to use stuff. If you're into crypto, if you're in trading, you know how to make alternative ways to pay, alternative ways to make things happen. I think for most people, that's terrifying. That the idea that at any point in the near future, they wouldn't be able to just pull out their debit card that they've been using or pull out cash and use it. They just immediately freeze up in terror. So if they're being told that they're headed toward that, most of them, the first thought they're going to have is how quickly and easily can I conform with this latest demand on me? They're not thinking like many of us who are thinking, hell no, we're not doing that. They don't have the same way of approaching the world that many of us do. And the last couple of years have, I think, definitively shown us that, where we thought you would just push people to a certain extent and they would go nuts. That's just not the way people have been responding. I think they're being pushed to the point where it'll push them beyond their fears. But that said, it's shown you can really make people do a lot out of
you can.
Out of fear, out of social pressure, out of anxiety over what's going to happen if they don't do it. It's I think some of us don't appreciate how easy it is to manipulate other people.
Right. And you hit on a good point. I was told this every time I bring these things up. They would say, the things you're saying, Dex, I mean, I hear what you're saying, but the people are going to rise up. The people are going to revolt. They're not going to put up with what you're saying. That will never happen.
Exactly. That's what I always
thought. It's already happened. Yeah. What do you mean it'll never happen? It's already happened. You already did it. When they told you to stay inside your house and you couldn't go outside, what did you do? Did you go outside? No.
They didn't.
You stayed in the house. When they told you could not buy food at this grocery store unless you put on a mask before you went inside, what did you do? Did you stay home and starve to death? No. You strapped on a mask, went in the store, got the food that you needed, and came out and went home. So don't tell me about, oh, people aren't going to put up with that. They're not. Yes, you are, and you already have. You've put up with so much. You're not even aware anymore of all the things that you've put up with.
Nope.
The average American puts up with more crap than a colostomy bag. And that's just the facts. Those are just facts. They tell themselves different, but it doesn't change anything. See, if nothing changes, well, then nothing changes. And it doesn't matter how bad you say you want it to. If you don't change anything, then nothing's going to change. People still vote for the career criminal politicians every election. That has not stopped. Crooked people are still in office. They're lifers. They've been in office for decades. The president only gets 2 terms, but everyone else, they can stay in office forever. If people keep voting them in office, they'll stay in office forever. Think about that. Why would you want to be in office forever? Especially in your district if everything is going to heck in a handbasket. Since you have been in office, nothing has changed for your citizenry, except things have changed for you. You have gotten rich. You have made more connections. You sat on multiple boards of corporations and companies. You get to benefit from breaking the law legally, because for you, insider trading is not against the law. But for the average citizen, it is. For you, you can go to events and hang out with people without wearing a mask. But if the average citizen does it, they will be peer pressure shamed into obedience. You see how this works? It's sad, but it's true. The American people have been lied to on so many levels, and because the lies have been repeated, they actually now believe them to be true. So understand this, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to hear real news and you want to discuss real topics, you're not going to be able to do it on social media. So just get that together, get that right now. Understand that going into it right now. Before long, they're going to be kicking just about everybody off of social media.
Yeah.
All right. Look at what they've taken from you already. Look at how many human rights you have lost. Look at how the Bill of Rights has been burned, scorched, thrown in the fireplace, and burnt to ash. America is no longer the freest nation on the planet. Far from it. The majority of your personal freedoms have been taken from you. You're not free to do anything without permission. You can't do anything in this country without permission from Uncle Sam. And I mean nothing. You can't even leave the country and come back without permission from Uncle Sam. You can't do anything. Soon, you won't be able to work either, because they're taking the jobs away. They don't need you. I warned everyone. I said, do you understand that you're laughing at blue-collar jobs that have been, taken away because they've been given the jobs to robots? Everyone laughed. All the white-collar people laughed, right? But now they're not laughing anymore, because now they're coming after the white-collar jobs, because now they realize, hey, judge, we don't need a judge. We don't need lawyers. AI is smarter than the judge and smarter than the lawyers, because it has the entire law book in its database, and it will determine what your sentencing will be, and it'll determine what your guilt is. Oh, and by the way, to make this really fair, we also have what is called the AI jury system. So we have 12 4K screens right here, and each one of these screens represents an algorithm for an impartial jury. So here's your 12. All right, we picked your 12 jurors. They're all AI jurors, and they're gonna listen to your AI attorney present the case for you, and then the AI judge is going to determine your guilt and or innocence, and then what degree of punishment it will be. Understand, there's no emotions involved. It's all going to be static. It is going to be black and white, and that's it. No extenuating circumstances, because then the judge AI is going to say, yeah, but the law says this. So they'll say, see, it's a fair and equitable system. Please understand something, ladies and gentlemen. Please remember this. Whatever new rules and laws or systems that they roll out, they will always exempt themselves. So you better believe
That's for sure.
that if they ever had to go before the AI court system, they have a special AI lawyer that will get them off, to the point where they won't even have to show up to go to court. Matter of fact, most people won't have to show up to go to court, because the AI will do it behind closed doors. You don't even have to leave your house. And then you'll get a text that says, okay, you have been found guilty and you've been sentenced to this. Please step outside the front door. There is a drone right there that is ready to take you into custody and fly you away to this new techno prison that has no human prison guards. It's all artificial intelligence, AI, androids that are indestructible. They will be housing you, and they will be put in authority over you. And it's just, it is what it is. All right. So deal with it. That's the world that you're about to be living in. All right. Please understand when I tell you this. No one's going to be working, ladies and gentlemen. I don't think you're ready for the answer as far as what you will be doing. Is everyone comfortable enough hearing what I'm about to say? Or should I just keep it to myself? Do you really want to know what the elite have planned for you, since they're taking your job away, what you will be doing, what you will be spending your time doing? I don't think people are ready for it. I don't think you're going to even believe me. But I'll just tell you anyway. What they want you to be spending your time doing, since you're not going to be working, they want you online. They want you playing video games. They want you using social media. They want you going to IG, and they want you to look at all the IG models. They want you to see people make fools of themselves on TikTok. That's what they want. They actually want you to do it. As a matter of fact, that's what they want you doing. They want you playing video games and on social media all day, watching the propaganda that they spew. Okay. Now, with that being said, you'll probably say, no, they don't want that. Remember, they want to take away everything. They want to take it away. Okay. They don't want you doing anything. Nope. On the contrary. On the contrary. They do want you on social media. They do want you surfing the web. They do want you in someone's OnlyFans account. They want that. They don't want to take that away. They need you to be in that. Now, let me tell you why. Okay, so think about it. If you are doing that all day, then you are no longer a threat. Remember the Matrix movie? Everyone was plugged into the artificial intelligence, the metaverse environment, and they were enjoying themselves. Most people didn't even realize that they were in a metaverse environment. They thought that they were living in reality, when in actuality, they were not living in reality. They were living in an artificial reality, a digital reality, rendered in 4K. All right? Now, prepare yourself for this next part. I know people are saying, no, the people will rise up. The people will wake up. The people will see this. The people will see that. All right. That's what they're saying. All right. And here's the I'm gonna drop this last part on you, and then we're gonna flip the script. All right. So here's what's gonna happen. They want you on social media. They want you surfing the web. And you have to ask yourself a question. Why is that? Well, the answer is because while you're doing these things, you will no longer be a threat. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. You will no longer be a threat. They have systematically ensured themselves 100% that the alternative news media is no longer a threat. They don't care. Look at how smoothly things have gone for them. They got Alex Jones removed off of all social media platforms. So now his influence is no longer what it was, right? Well, it gets worse than that. As of today, April the 18th, Monday, 2022, Alex Jones has filed for bankruptcy. They have systematically destroyed him economically. See, getting him off social media was only half the job. The other part was to take away all of his funding sources and make it so that places like PayPal, MasterCard, Visa, Bank of America would no longer do business with him. So, it's the same thing that the governor in New York did after Trump got out of office. He made it so that none of the banks in New York wanted to have him as a customer anymore. So they closed all of his accounts. Do you remember that? Do you remember that?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So these are the facts and reality that we're in. Now, you may ask yourself, how is me not working and being able to research all day on the internet not a threat to them? Because I have all day, I have no other responsibilities. I can just search anything I want and learn, and strategize to break their bondage over me. No, you can't, and no, you won't. All right. I hope you guys are sitting down. Now, this was just brought to my attention this weekend. I noticed it, but you know how you can notice something and not really know that you know something? Ladies and gentlemen, I remember back in 2007, there was a guy who had made millions of dollars on the internet. He was, he did it all: drop shipping, selling, information, and how to make money on the internet, all this kind of stuff. The reason I bring it up is because at the end of his commercial, he would always say, hurry up and get this information now. He says, because trust me, he said, I tell you, I swear to you, they're going to be changing the internet. So come now, get this information now while you still can, because mark my words, they will be changing the internet. Not long after that, what did we hear them saying a lot? What did we hear them saying? Internet 2.0. Have you not heard that? And now a newer one, Internet 3.0. And now, metaverse. Now, let me explain to you why all of that is a lie, because it's already happened when no one was looking, when no one was paying attention. They've already changed the internet. They have shadow banned every human being in the world from using the internet. As I'm talking to you right now, yes, you young man, you young lady, you no longer have access to the internet. I don't mean getting online. I'm not talking about that. I said access to the internet. Remember when you were curious and you wanted to look something up, and there may be 1 billion pages for you to scroll through and, to dig deeper in the rabbit hole? Not anymore. As of Monday, April the 18th, 2022, all the world's citizens have been shadow banned off of the internet. When you do a Google search, you are no longer accessing the internet. It has been taken away from you. Remember how you would look up, let's say, cheese, and you may have 10,000 links and websites and PDFs to go to. You could spend all day going to each link and reading and learning about cheese. Not anymore. The internet has been taken away from you. Everyone who is listening to me right now, you don't have access to the internet anymore, and you haven't even realized it. I double dare you. I double dare you right now, even while you're listening to me. I dare you to pull up any web browser you want, any web browser, and search anything. I don't care what it is. I guarantee you, you will have no more than 45 links or 45 pages before you can't go anymore. And every page is going to be the government's narrative and talking points. I challenge you, if you don't believe me, see how much of the internet has been taken away from you. You may get 9,345,175,000 results, but you will only have access to no more than 40, 45 pages or links of that. And once you click and keep going, try to go to the end, you will not reach the end ever, because it's been shadow banned from you. You'll say, what happened to the billion results? You've only given me 45. I can only see 45. What's going on here? You haven't even noticed it. Yes, they've already been successful and done what they said. You have lost, ladies and gentlemen. It's already over for you. All right. Now, my man Frank has just reminded me to let you guys know that we are live tonight with the Bull panel, live at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Also, we are running a free trial for anyone who hasn't tried the PulseWave reports. You can go to pulsewavetrading.com and you can get a 14-day free trial to our pro membership. Also, tomorrow, we're going to be doing a live training event for members. All right. Members can sign up on the website, pulsewavetrading.com. And you want to take advantage of it as quickly and as soon as possible before everything fills up. All right. So you want to be in the first group with the web tomorrow, herein.com, and register for that so that you don't miss out on the amazing training that we have for you for tomorrow. And it's only for members. All right. It's only for paying members. If you're a paying member of the PulseWave reports on any capacity, any level, you are invited to the free training. Now, for those of you who are not members of PulseWave Trading, you have not subscribed, you do not know where to buy and sell in these markets because you don't have the PulseWaves. I'm inviting you to go ahead and take the 14-day trial, take the 14-day challenge. I double dare you to take the challenge. I dare you within 14 days, see if you have not made a profit in using the PulseWave system. I dare you. Take that 14-day free trial. Take advantage of that. In addition to that, the reason why you're going to want to come tomorrow, because not only is it a live teaching webinar, but I'm going to share with you a secret that most people don't even know. Even most real estate experts and realtors don't know what I'm about to share with you in tomorrow's webinar. Are you ready for this? I'm going to show you how you can do this in this current economic depression environment we're in. I'm going to show you how to flip houses with no money. I'm going to show you how to pimp the real estate game without a mortgage. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. How you can participate in the real estate game with little to no money and without a mortgage. You've been reading the headlines, you've been watching the news. Certain cities are a lot worse off than others. I will show you how to take advantage of this situation without a mortgage. No mortgage required to take advantage of the housing market crisis. I don't care if you are underemployed, unemployed. If you have $500, I will show you how to flip that house and take advantage of the real estate market in the U.S. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. This opportunity will never, ever come again. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for you and yours to profit off of the real estate crisis without a mortgage. You do not need to get a loan from your bank. You do not need a loan to flip that house. This is information you don't want to miss. It's only for our members. So if you're not a member, you're going to want to hear and become a member. You can go to PulseWaveTrading.com, take the 14-day free trial challenge of our pro membership. That's enough to get you into the door, into the webinar tomorrow to learn how to flip that house with no mortgage. You don't need a mortgage. You don't need a carpenter on your team. You don't need a plumber. You don't need a building inspector, a realtor, a bank. You don't need none of them people. $500 and you will be able to profit off of the disastrous effects of the USA real estate market, the real estate crisis in America. This will be a one-time webinar. I will not do it again, and it's only for members. So to become a member, go to PulseWaveTrading.com. If you're not a member, take the 14-day free trial with the pro membership. That gets you in the door tomorrow for the once-in-a-lifetime webinar. And you don't want to miss it. So prepare yourself. It's going to be amazing. With that said, one last thing I want to comment on. So last week you heard me talk about the great global algo shift that is underway. I cannot stress that reality to you enough. To be quite honest with you, I knew that it was underway, but I did not realize at how fast things were moving. I at least figured that it would be, maybe several weeks or a couple of months before it really kicks in, even though we're starting to see signs of it now. But over the weekend, something weird happened, and it has now accelerated this process. So this global algo shift is underway even as we speak. Some markets are going to be absolutely decimated in the coming days and weeks, while other markets are going to take off like a rocket and not look back. All right. The rockets are about to leave Earth, and those other markets, unfortunately, will probably go to zero. I will be showing you more of that in the days and weeks to come to make sure you're not holding a security that's about to go to zero. So we're going to make sure you're not holding a stock that's about to go to zero. We're going to show you how to get out before things get bad. So we're going to show you that with the POP method, how you can, take charge of your financial future. Unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, I hate being the bearer of bad news, but a lot of pensioners out there, unfortunately, you're going to be in trouble. I hate to have to say that, but you're about to be in a lot of trouble in these next couple of years, next 2 to 3 years. A lot of pensioners are going to lose their pension, and with it, their livelihood. They're going to be systematically catapulted into unbelievable poverty because a lot of pensioners, they rely on that. That's all they got. How you going to live if you don't have an income? You got to have an income, right? Pensions have been wrecked, and those that haven't been wrecked already are about to get wrecked. They knew about this years ago, and they did nothing to stop it. All right? This nation, as you know it, is over. It has been given over to corruption on a magnitude unmatched since the fall of the Roman Empire. It is so pervasive, so systematically entwined into the DNA of corporate greed in America. You have really never benefited from capitalism in America. What you have seen is consistent interventionist actions and corruption. You have not seen a free market because of corruption. You know you're in a corrupt environment when the government allows corporations to write their own laws. That's right. When you allow a corporation to write its own laws and then to police itself, you're asking for trouble. And that's exactly what we got. Think about it. The last several heads of the Food and Drug Administration have come out of companies like Monsanto. They're industry cats. Who do you think is their master? It's not the American public. It's the corporations that they left. Come on, man. You guys have to know that. What do you think happens when the government allows industry to pass laws to make it impossible for them to ever have to experience competition in the future? So you got your top 3, top 5 companies in any given sector. They will lobby the government to pass a law that will make it impossible for them to ever experience competition in the future. So let's say a company like Exxon, we'll just use this as an example. All right. So Exxon says, you know what? We've been making a lot of money during the energy crisis. You know, this is great, but we think we can make more. Congress, can you go ahead and make a law saying that you cannot start your own oil business like Exxon unless you pay $3 billion for this weird environmental? Because, you know, in commercial real estate, you got to pay a thing called environmentals. You got to look at the environmental effect of your business that you're looking to open on the local environment. So they say, well, we want a special environmental procedure. This one costs $3 billion. So go ahead and make that. Now you'll say, why would they do that to themselves? Well, because let's say they already spend that much money already just to run their business, and it's nothing for them. But for the new guy who wants to come off the street and say, I'm gonna make my own Exxon, and this Exxon's gonna be environmental friendly, and we're gonna use renewables, energy, and windmills, and we're gonna use solar and all this other stuff, and water, and I'm gonna show you that you don't need fossil fuels anymore. So yeah, I'm getting into the space. Nope, they don't want that to happen. So that's why they lobby to get certain laws passed and new rules, cumbersome bureaucratic rules, to make it impossible for any competition to threaten them in the future. Multiple industries have been doing this for decades, and it's only gotten worse in recent history. So yeah, the only thing you've known is corruption. You have not experienced free market capitalism. Free market capitalism works. Free market capitalism is not your enemy. Big government is your enemy. Corruption and chaos is your enemy, not free market capitalism. And because you've never seen free market capitalism, this is all you see. And they call it capitalism, but it's not. It's interventionism along with corruption. All right? I have to stress that, because in the coming days and weeks and months ahead, things are going to get wild and crazy and move very rapidly. And you're not going to have time to sit and think, okay, what should I do? You're going to have to already have a plan on what you should do. But you won't be able to do this if you're not prepped. I'm not talking about prepping in the sense of prepping. I'm talking about prepared in the economic front. There's a war that's not just being waged in the physical realm, but also in the economic realm. There is a war that's going on. I've warned people about this for decades. I said, look, I don't care if you have no intentions of trading or investing, you still should have a modern brokerage account, because the day is coming where you will not be able to open one so easily, ladies and gentlemen. You want to be one of the lucky people who get grandfathered into all the new rules that are coming. Rules are coming. They're going to gatekeep more people out of the financial markets. They never wanted you to participate in their financial markets, ever, ever. And going forward, they realize their mistakes because they let people like me in, and they don't want people like me in because I help people like you to benefit from these markets. As corrupt, as crooked, and as fixed, meddled with, manipulated as they are, you can still make money. As a matter of fact, you can make even more money than you could. And I'm here to tell you, it's easier to trade and make money in the markets today than it's ever been since I've been doing this in the past almost 30 years. And that's straight up. That's straight talk. That's real talk. So I don't care what they do. The market is still the market. Price action is still price action. And price action will never change. All right? Even after we're dead and gone, prices will continue to do two things. Prices will continue to go up, and prices will continue to go down. And no amount of manipulating of markets or greed or corruption will ever change that. All right? So please understand that. This is your opportunity to take back control of your finances and build income streams for yourself. The reason why the wealthy stay wealthy and get wealthier is because they don't rely on just one income stream. They have multiple income streams. I don't care if you have a great job. I don't care if you're a doctor and you have a good, thriving medical practice. I don't care if you're an engineer. I don't care what you do for a living. You still need multiple income streams. And the only way to get that is to build it now before it will become impossible for you to do so. Don't wait until you become a victim of the new banking system and then you want to message me and DM me, Dex, can you help me? I had $100,000 and I only have $2,000 left. Can you please help me? I need to make a living. I'm in trouble. I got a family. I got kids. And I'm about to say to you, I'm sorry. I wish I could help you now, but I can't. I tried to help you before this happened to you, but you didn't make any effort. You didn't do what I instructed you to do. That's all I can do is warn. Educate and warn. That's all I can do. I can't make anybody do anything. All I can do is warn and encourage and educate. That's it. But I'm telling you, the day is coming where you will not be able to participate in the financial system. All right? Please do it now while you still can. Make as much money right now in this financial system as you can. I don't care if you only make $100. That's going to be $100 more that you had before. All right? So if you come to me and you say I only got $300 and you take that $300, put it to work, and you double it to $600, if that's all you can do, that's the best you can do, you're going to be happy you did that because at first you only had $300, now you have $600. So if a sandwich costs $20 just for one little sandwich, you're going to be happy that you got $600 and not $300 because now you're going to be able to eat for a little bit longer. All right. So please, I'm begging you, if you're listening to this broadcast, I'm begging you, please go to PulseWaveTrading.com and learn how to trade and benefit in these financial markets. This, trading and investing is one of the most important parts of prepping. People always leave that out. You can't prep without money. You can't. You can't buy heirloom seeds without money. You can't. You can't buy anything without money. You need money. Money is the first part of prepping because without money, you can't do anything else. You can't leave the country. You can't travel. You have nothing. You can't buy fuel for your vehicle. You can't do anything. You don't have money. You're going to need money at the end of the day. I don't care what type of money it is, whether it be fiat, gold, silver, or crypto, you're going to need some form of fiat. And right now, you can transfer money fiat money, you can convert fiat money into gold. You can convert fiat money into silver. You can convert fiat money into crypto. Today, April the 18th, 2022, you can still convert fiat into physical precious metals and crypto. Today, you can do that. Tomorrow, you may not be able to. So you need to do the things that you can do today while it's still day. Because when night comes, no one can work. So work while you still can, while it's still day, because at night, no one can work. Can't see in the dark. You just can't see in the dark. All right. So I'm telling you, man, please do the right thing. You got to. All right. You have the opportunity to take advantage of this. Don't be one of those people when your children look up at you and say, have you ever heard of that guy, Dex, the Algo capitalist on YouTube? Have you seen? I mean, did you ever take advantage of that, Dad? Well, son, no. I just didn't know. So you mean you had an opportunity, Father, to feed us and you didn't take it and now we're starving? Yup. You don't be that dude. Don't be that. Don't play yourself. All right. That's why there's a 14-day free trial, because we are stoked. We're excited because we know that once you take the trial, you're gonna be like, man, what have I been doing all these years? What have I been doing with my life? I cannot. If I had $1 for every time someone came to me and said, man, I wish I would have known about you back then. I lost all my money now. All my money's gone, man. I wish I would have known about you then. Goodness, man. I wish. Well, you hear it now. I'm here now. So take advantage of me while I'm still here, because maybe tomorrow I may not be. I don't know. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Take advantage of things while you still can. All right, I'm done, man. I'm done. As far as I see what you're saying about XRP, Ripple, and all that. Look, man, Ripple is something that people are using. They like that application for whatever reason. Just like people still like using Litecoin and Ethereum, Ether and Bitcoin. I mean, I don't care about. See, here's the thing about me. I don't really care about the instruments that I'm trading. Most stocks that I buy and sell, I couldn't even tell you who the CEO of the company is. I couldn't even tell you what they manufacture or what business they're in. I don't know. I don't know their earnings statements. I don't know if they pay dividends. I don't know anything about them. And really, I'll be honest with you, I don't care. Because the only thing that matters to me is price. Price. Where am I going to make my next dollar? Is it shorting Ripple or is it buying Ripple? That's all I care about. If there's an opportunity to get long or short, that's all I care about. If not, then oh well. That's how I look at it. That's right. Take what you can, give nothing back. What that means is extract whatever profit from the market that you're doing business with that you can, and don't give back your profits to the market by way of losses because you decide to become a knucklehead and not trail your stops, not trail your open position with stops. You got to use stop losses, folks. You got to use stop losses. You never, ever trade without using stop losses. So what if you get stopped out of the loss? You can always get back in the market. So what if you get stopped out with profits, with gains? You can always get back in the market. You will never go broke taking profits. It is impossible to go broke taking profits. But you will go broke taking losses, no matter how small. They can accumulate and become exponential losses. So that's why I stress the discipline of trading and investing. You got to be disciplined. You got to use a stop loss. At some point, you have to be willing to admit when you are wrong. And then you can get on the right side of things. Once you admit to yourself something, then you can rectify it. But as long as you're still in denial, then you're never going to rectify anything. All right, you said global markets fail. Okay, so let's discuss that. On this channel, we deal with the hard things here, the hard questions. We don't run from things. We don't beat around the bush or try to escape from dealing with hard, tough subjects. No, we deal with it head on. So the question here is, or the comment is, global markets fail with a question mark. Okay, so let's talk about it. Okay, so when we say market, we gotta break things down and define what we mean when we say market. Okay, so markets in general, when we say markets in general, we're talking about like exchanges, like the New York Stock Exchange, the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, Chicago Board of Trade, things like that. So when we say markets, we're talking about as a whole, but we also are talking about individual markets. The market, meaning the big exchanges, the Life Exchange, all those exchanges, is different from the individual markets. So the market is, the big exchanges. The market is the individual securities within those exchanges. So for example, you got Twitter. Twitter is a stock. Twitter is a security. Twitter, though, is also a market. When I am buying and selling shares of Twitter, I am buying and selling an individual market. Every security is a market in unto itself. So yes, individual markets can quote unquote fail. What do we mean by that? Will the exchanges fail? Is the New York Stock Exchange going to go away, or the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, or the Life? No, not at all. No. Are individual securities within those exchanges, can they fail? Yes. All right. MF Global failed. All right. WorldCom failed. Tyco failed. Enron failed. All right. There is a long laundry list of stocks that used to be tradable that don't exist anymore. All right. So yes, stocks can go to zero. Don't ever get that twisted. So yes, individual markets can fail, meaning stocks can go to zero. Now, theoretically, can a forex currency pair go to zero? No. All right. In theory, no. In reality, maybe, but since I've been alive, I've not seen that happen. We've seen the collapse of Argentina and Russia and all these other places. But as far as the forex exchange, those are still going strong. The euro is still the euro. The Swiss franc is still the Swiss franc. For a forex to go to zero means that's saying that country has gone out of existence. That's basically what you're saying. The country doesn't exist anymore. But yeah, fiat can go to zero and implode. Yes, absolutely, it can happen. Is it likely? Not really. But can it? Yeah, anything can happen. Of course. But see, here's the catch, though. If I'm short euro currency and euro currency goes to zero, well, I am rich. Once I liquidate my position, I'm rich. Once they cash me out, I'm rich, right? Stocks, go to zero. It's rare, but it can happen, and it has happened. For a commodity, though, to go to zero doesn't make any sense, because commodities are physical things that have intrinsic value, all right, and alternative uses. A barrel of crude oil is a commodity. It's a scarce resource with alternative uses. There are like 1,000 uses for a barrel of crude oil. All right. Yeah, but see that's a good point. That is a good point. Let's address it. Let's not dance around it. My man in the chat just said oil went negative. Yes, it did. Yes, it did. But did it go negative because they found a new oil well that had limitless oil? They found a new well somewhere that had a Googleplex gallons of oil in it? No. That was part of the conspiracy I was telling you about earlier when I said corruption. That was a corrupt thing to do. But remember, we're not surprised, right? Because what have I taught you guys since I've been on YouTube over a decade? I told you that, number one, and this is a primary thing you got to learn. Before they create a bubble, they have to first implode that market. Since crude oil went negative $100 a barrel, question class, what is the price of crude oil today per barrel as we speak? Answer, $108.32 per barrel. Yep. See what I'm saying? So, no, these are facts we got to deal with, man. We got to deal with this. So, commodities theoretically should never go to zero because of their scarcity and because of their alternative uses. All right. In prison, a toothbrush is a commodity, but it also has alternative uses. A toothbrush can be fashioned into a shank and can take a man's life, right? So that toothbrush will never really have zero intrinsic value in prison because you got to be able to brush your teeth for one, and a toothbrush has alternative uses. It can be turned into a shank. It can be turned into a brush to clean with, clean walls, clean floors, clean boots, whatever. You think of a lot of uses for that toothbrush. It doesn't just have to be used to brush one's teeth. So that's what commodities are. Should gold ever go to zero? No, because for thousands of years, gold has been money. Should silver ever go to zero? No, because for thousands of years, silver has been considered money. Can the US dollar go to zero? Yes, because it's a fiat currency backed by nothing. It has zero intrinsic value. If it was backed by gold, then it would have intrinsic value. And I would say, no, the dollar cannot go to zero because it's backed by gold. And gold will never go to zero because gold has alternative uses besides just wearing it around your neck as a gold chain. Same thing with silver. I can wear silver as jewelry, or I can use it for other things. So commodities should never go to zero because of their intrinsic value. Stocks can and often do go out of business and go to zero. Yes. Forex, technically, yeah, it can go to zero because it's based on fiat currency, but the likelihood of that happening, I've never seen it or even heard about it. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but the major forex currency pairs, like the top 10, I've never seen them go to zero. Japan has been in recession for 199 million years or whatever. Japanese yen is not at zero today. Japanese yen is up 105 pips. So, no. But is it possible? Yeah. Someone could decide, you know what? I am a jerk. I'm a monster and I'm bored. So I'm going to do a little bit of hacking and I'm going to launch a nuke and I'm going to decimate the island of Japan and have it sink into the sea. In that regard, will the yen go to zero at that point? Absolutely. But is that a likely scenario? Nah, not at all. Not hardly. See what I'm saying? So you have to put things into their proper perspective. Is there a risk in investing or trading? Absolutely. There is always risk of ruin, no matter what you do. However, the risk loss cost analysis basis is this. There is a greater risk of not investing or trading, then there is likelihood of trading and investing. In other words, no risk, no reward, but there is a greater risk to the average human being if they don't invest and or trade their money. When I say invest, that includes trading, not just buy and hold. So we'll just say investment to keep it simple. The risk to the 20-year-old today to take every money that they earn and put it under their mattress is greater than the 20-year-old today who says, I'm going to buy Bitcoin, or I'm going to buy a few shares of Amazon, and I'm going to buy a few shares of Apple. I'm going to buy a few shares of Twitter. I'm going to buy a few shares of Tesla. For this individual who is investing their money, his risk of ruin is actually less than the risk of ruin to the 20-year-old who puts all his money in his mattress, because his money under the mattress, although it may be safe, here's the problem. It's not going to keep up with inflation. So he's actually going to be losing money over the years. So if both live to be 100, the one who invested his money may be a multimillionaire or a billionaire, while the one who put the money under the mattress is living in abject poverty. Okay? A $10,000 investment in Bitcoin in 2011 is worth millions and millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars today. $20 hidden in the mattress 100 years ago is pretty much worthless today. All right, so there you have it. The risk of not investing is greater than the risk of investing. Even though there is risk in investment, you can lose 100% of your principal. If you're investing using leverage, you can lose even more than your initial investment. Those are factors of life. Everything is a trade-off. Okay? That's what it is. Okay? So with that being said, I just want to encourage everybody. I like to leave off with encouragement. To me, this is the greatest opportunity that we will probably have in our lifetime to generate, streams of income for our posterity. So even if we don't be around to see it, our children and our children's children and their children will benefit from what we do today. You see what I'm saying? So the risk of doing nothing is greater than the risk of doing something. You just want to make sure that what you do, you're approaching it logically, rationally, and professionally. Investing should be approached as a business, just like prepping in general. In a way, it's a business, because there's a trade-off. There's a benefit to you doing it, but there's also great risk and harm if you don't. If I don't store up when times are great, if I don't store up for when things are not great, my risk is greater than the person who does. So there's always great risk in doing nothing. You can't do nothing. You must do whatever you can to sustain yourself, unless you just really love and trust the federal government and you have no problem with universal basic income. If you think that you'll be fine, you can swing it with the basic universal income, okay, then I guess universal basic income is for you. But to the rest of the people who say, no, I'm not going to be reliant on the federal government, I don't want to be, I want to be sufficient and not beholden to that, then you know what you have to do. All right, y'all know what it is, man. I am out of here. Remember, smash that like button. Don't forget to go to PulseWaveTrading.com. Take advantage of our free offer, 14-day free trial of the Pro membership. It also gets you into the door for tomorrow's webinar. And I'm going to be revealing how to pimp the real estate market without getting a mortgage, how to flip that house with no mortgage. You don't have to borrow no money. And you don't need a team of, carpenters, electricians, and mason workers. You don't need none of that. You don't need no concrete. You don't need none of that. I'm going to share it with you. All right. So that's tomorrow. So Remember, bulls make money, bears make money, and pigs get slaughtered. So remember to take what you can and give nothing back. And I am out. Peace.